Football is not always fair. Some players don't lose because they are weak. They lose because fate decides to turn against them. Imagine training your entire life for the World Cup, only to get injured just days before the biggest tournament of your career, or reaching the final and watching your dream disappear in the last few seconds. These are not just footballers, these are the most unlucky players in football history, and today, their stories will shock you. Every football fan talks about legends, Messi, Ronaldo, and World Cup heroes. But behind every winner, there is always someone who suffered in silence. Players who had everything: talent, speed, skill, passion. But one thing they didn't have was luck. Let's start with the most heartbreaking story in modern football. 1. Marco Reus, the World Cup that always disappeared. Marco Reus was Germany's golden boy. Fast, intelligent, creative, he had everything to become a World Cup hero. But football had other plans. Just before the 2014 World Cup, he suffered a serious injury. And what happened next? Germany went on to win the World Cup. Without him. Imagine that pain. Your nation becomes champions, and you are watching from home. For Reus, the World Cup was never about failure. It was about timing. And timing betrayed him. 2. Michael Ballack, the cursed captain. Michael Ballack was Germany's leader, their strongest warrior, but his career at the biggest stage was pure heartbreak. Lost the 2002 World Cup final, lost Euro finals, missed the 2010 World Cup due to injury. It felt like every time he got close to glory, football pulled it away. A captain without a trophy, a leader without a crown. Ballack didn't just lose matches, he lost moments that never came back. 3. Ronaldo Nazario, the genius tested by pain. Ronaldo Nazario was unstoppable. Defenders couldn't stop him, but injuries could. Before the 1998 World Cup final, something shocking happened. He collapsed before the match. Even though he played, he was not himself. Years later, he came back stronger and won the 2002 World Cup. But his body had already suffered too much. Football fans still ask, what if Ronaldo never got injured? Maybe football history would have looked completely different. 4. Arjen Robben, so close every time. Arjen Robben was speed itself. In 2010, he reached the World Cup final and lost. In 2014, he came even closer, but still fell short. Even in key moments, last-minute chances, luck always slipped away. One missed shot, 1 second too late, and history changed. Robben was never far from glory, but never close enough to touch it. 5. Karim Benzema, the World Cup that never fully happened. Benzema is one of the best strikers of his generation, but the World Cup story never worked in his favor. Missed 2018 World Cup despite peak form, returned in 2022 but got injured before final. Could not play the biggest match of his life. For a Ballon d'Or level player, the World Cup always stayed just out of reach. Sometimes talent is not the problem, timing is. 6. Santi Cazorla, the miracle comeback. Cazorla's story is not just unlucky, it is painful. A simple injury turned into a nightmare. Multiple surgeries, infections, doctors warning he may never walk again. For many players, that would be the end. But Cazorla returned. Not as a superstar, but as a fighter who refused to disappear. His story shows something powerful. Even in the darkest moments, football never fully takes everything away. 7. The bigger truth of football. Football fans remember winners, but they forget something important. For every trophy lifted, there is someone who missed it by seconds. For every hero, there is someone who is just as good, but far less lucky. World Cup history is not only about greatness, it is about timing, injuries, and fate. In football, being great is not enough. You also need something you cannot control, luck, because sometimes the most talented players in history are not remembered for what they won, but for what they lost. And maybe the cruelest truth of football is this: some legends are not broken by opponents, they are broken by fate itself. So next time you watch a World Cup match, remember this: behind every trophy, there is always a story of heartbreak. And behind every winner, there is always someone who is just as great, but far less lucky.